Hi everybody, Jo here again. How you doing? Hope things are okay. Today it's Tuesday obviously, so it's time for our crafty catch up, and I thought we'd create this lovely little design here. And to be honest, I just wanted to play with one of my new stencils, so it's as simple as that. And also I found I had quite a few of these sort of, it's like a creamy ivory coloured card blanks. So it gave me a good excuse to use them. And as always, I've decorated my envelope. Look, I just think Tango really makes me smile just swinging in here. I think I should call him Tarzan Tango. And I just think for me, if I had that coming through my letterbox, do you know what? It really would make me smile. And I just think at the minute, I know a few of us have got there's things going on. To be honest, my own dad's very unwell. So if I sound a bit down today, I'm really sorry. We're really struggling as a family. But I know my lovely crafty friends on here will help me. And that's what we are. We're such a lovely crafty family. So for me, crafting is a lovely way to just almost lose myself. And for me, my dad has always inspired me with craft. In fact, years ago when I was probably about 10 or 11, he bought me a glass engraving kit. And although I liked it, it was okay. But you know when you try a new hobby and you're not that convinced, but it did lead that the next thing he bought me was a pyrography kit. And so those of you that follow me on social media will know that I adore pyrography and I do lots of wood burning. So he was the one who got me into that, and I just adore it. And, it just shows you, we do have a lot of people that give us inspiration at an early age. I mean, it has spurred me on to try so many different crafts with my grandchildren, because, some they will prefer more than others, and it's lovely to see the joy that they get. Anyway, sorry, as always, I digress. You know what I'm like. Gives you a chance anyway to go and get your brew, get your cheeky biscuit. I'm having a few cheeky biscuits at the minute. Better not weigh myself, but there we go. Hey ho. So, Tarzan Tango and this gorgeous wild berry stamp. And now I am thinking, and again, I hate to be using that Christmas word, but don't you think this would make a lovely Christmas card? I've purposely done my berries blue today because I love blue. But I'm thinking if I did them red. But I thought if I come in with red, you'll go, oh, it's definitely a Christmas card. But I thought if I put the blue there, then obviously it can be, Christmas or get well or thinking of you or even a birthday card. As quite often I do, I've left it without a sentiment, but I've got plenty of room. I mean, I was thinking of if I had a little sentiment, I could just put it in his hand there, so he's swinging in with happy birthday. But because I haven't decided who I'm going to send this to and what occasion it's going to be for me, it's such a generic card that I can leave it. And as I say, I think a lovely sentiment in his hand there, coming swinging in with it, will be perfect. So we'll get started. Now I'm using 5x5 and this is the multi-fairies card, but it's I'm sorry, I can't remember whether Tracy calls it ivory, off-white, but it's lovely. It's just an off-white colour and it goes perfect with my ivory card blanks. Now, as always, I'm just going to start with my black Sharpie line, and I've got and I shall just do that before we get going. So I just need to be mindful that I just press here. And I was just looking, then the postman just went past my craft room window, and I'm thinking, oh, please don't knock at the door. Please have something you can put through. So if I suddenly went quiet, that was me gasping, thinking, oh, do you know what? The postman always decides to come just when I start recording, just when we have our catch up. And as you know, I like to do this at the beginning just so that it's done and out of the way. So let's turn that over. And what we'll do is we'll start with some stamping. And I've got this wild berries set. Now, it's got 3 stamps, and I must admit, I always make a note. I keep mine on And I always make a note that there's 3 stamps because I'm only going to be using these 2 stamps today. But there is a little stamp that comes with it, and I'd hate to lose that. I think you can buy this as a £1 stamp anyway, excuse me, if my memory serves me correct. But I do say if my memory serves me correct, because I don't know about you, but oh gee, my memory at the minute, it's not the best it's ever been. So we'll start with the larger of these 3 stamps. And I'm just going to build up this lovely sort of corner design. Now, a little word of warning, we are going to be colouring these berries in. Now, depending on how much you like colouring, may depend on how many times you actually want to stamp this. It was only when I was colouring mine in, I thought, oh, I've got to colour all these in. And our lovely friends and followers might not want to actually stay while I colour them all in, so you may need to fast forward it later. So we'll just sort of come round the side here. And I've purposely left a bit of a gap here because what I'm thinking is the smaller one will just fit lovely in there. I want a nice shape, but I want it to look quite random. And again, I'm just sort of thinking there. If you're not sure, just use your acetate to give you an idea. And again, I'm stamping on the side, so I'm sorry about that. If you're new to the channel, you'll soon get used to me, I'm afraid. The design's going to be this way, but I'm not very good at stamping. I find it awkward. So for me, it's just something I just find easier. But like I say, we all have our own little quirks, don't we? And if you find something that works well for you, that's the main thing. And I just want to catch a little bit up here just to finish that nice shape here. So I like that. With your extra little one, you know, if ever you wanted to add extra bits, you've always got that, which is perfect. So we'll add a little bit at the top. So let's add a longer one first for our tango to hang from. So I'm thinking if we put that one, say there, and then we'll just add a touch either side. So let's just angle that there, give a nice shape, and again just catch there. Yeah. So as always, I'm just going to give my stamps a bit of a wipe with my Inky Binky and just pop them to one side. And then we'll come in with our lovely little tango. And as I say, we're just going to hang him from there. Now, I could stamp him in brown, but I just want to keep all mine quite sort of the monochromatic stamping. So I'm stamping everything in Nocturne in the black VersaFine Clair. And again, I may just need to get my head over. I sort of want him swinging, hanging on to that. There we go. We'll go for that. And you know what? If he's not quite hanging on, we've got a lovely black fine liner pen and we can extend either his arm or the flower. I think the hops these, aren't they? Or rose hips. We'll extend something anyway to make sure. Oh, there we go. He's okay. He's hanging on. But as I say, if he wasn't, we could add a little bit. So again, I'm just going to give him a wipe. I know there are some people that don't like to clean the stamps, and that's fine. It's horses for courses. But for me, I'm afraid I like to clean my stamps. 2 reasons. 1, I find when I take them off the block, I don't get inky fingers and then put marks on my card. And 2, I just find there's such beautiful fine detail on these stamps here. I don't want the ink to build up. But as I say, everybody's different. If you don't like to clean yours, by all means you don't. Now, that's my stamping done. And again, you know me, this is the bit where we go our belt and braces. So I'm just going to, I've blotted that, but I'm also just going to bring in my heat tool. Just because I'm going to do my stenciling next and I really don't want to smudge. I'm so pleased that I stamped them in the right place. I don't want to smudge it when I've stamped it, so I'm happy with that. I mean, again, you know, you could batch card make this and just change the stamps you've got. There are lots of florals that the mice can hang from. You could change your colours up a little bit, change your stencil up. Now, speaking of stencil, we're going to use this gorgeous stencil here. And whenever we get new stencils and stamps, I instantly have favourites. I don't know what you're like. Sometimes my favourites change when I use them, but I knew this one was going to be a favourite. It reminds me of a ginkgo flower, and I just adore that. Now, it's actually called Flower Spray. But again, you know, I have a thing about florals, so I'm not surprised I like it. Now, as you can see, it is slightly coloured, and that's because I did a class at the weekend, and I have to say we used our new ink sprays, and look at these. I couldn't resist. Two fabulous backgrounds, one with the ink sprayed through the stencil, and then one putting the card on top, making a sandwich and getting the positive from the ink that's on top of the stencil. But I think they're both beautiful. And I've got to be honest, I can't wait to stamp on top of those. But I tell you what, I won't be stamping much because I think the background that there is just stunning. So you can see I have a bit of a thing about this stencil. Now what we're going to do, we're going to put two colours of ink on it. Now when I tried this, I wasn't sure how it was going to look, but I'm really happy with the way it looks. But it is one of those moments where you sort of take a deep breath and think, oh, have I done the right thing? So we're going to use our Elements ink pads, and we're coming in with Della Blue and Olive. And I've got my stencil brushes here. So I'm going to put my blue there and my olive here. She says, trying to make sure you can see. You know me. Now, we're going to start at the top first. And the thing is with the stencil, I want to just be mindful of, I want to leave this area here quite plain without any stenciling. I don't want to overface it. I don't want to cover the whole thing design with stenciling. So I just want to look for a nice shape. And I'm thinking I like that shape. Now you could tape this down. I like to live a bit dangerously, so I'm going to hold it. And I'm going to start with my blue. And I'm just going to take some off on the lid like I usually do. And I'm just going to add a little bit of blue in the middle of this flower here and this one here. And then put that down. Then I'm coming in with my green stencil brush. Again, just take a little bit off on the lid. And then I'm very gently, remember we're tickling, just going to tickle round the stencil here. Just gently, tickle. And just under here where I've got my fingers. And then I'm just going to bring my blue brush in again and just go over the top of there. And then when I lift that up, we've got that lovely stenciling at the top. And we've got that beautiful, can you see that the blue just in here? We've just gone round the edge here. And then we'll turn this round. And come in this way. And again, the same sort of thing. You just want to spend your time getting, so I want to be mindful. There we go. So I'm going to ignore this bit, but I want the stencil there and there. So it's worth taking your time, getting it just exactly how you want it. And the same thing, I'll come in with the blue and we'll just put a little bit in the middle of that flower head. And let's go here. And again, I don't want to overdo it. We'll just go in with, oh, I think we'll do that one. She said I don't want to overdo it, and then does another one. And then we'll pick up some green from our lid. And again, gently come in and just add some green. And again, I'm gently going round. move my fingers there. And then come back in with the blue just to blend in. And if I'm worried I'm going to get a little bit of green on top of my brush that I'm going to pick up, I can just clean my brush on my Inky Binky when I've finished. So if I get that up, now that's a bit dark there with the blue. Little corner here I'm not keen. I'm just going to come in with my green and just blend that a little bit more. Yes, that's better. So when I lift that up, I've got that. And I'm happy with that. And as I say, my stencil brush, I have got a little bit of green that I've picked up. So just on Mr. Inky Binky, give it a bit of it, and look, the green's come off and I'm back to having my blue stencil brush. So we'll pop the lids on those, make sure I get the right one on the right one. Now, with my stencil, what I can do is move that out of the way. Just give it a quick spritz to clean it. Just over Eric, who's laid here as always. Now the thing with this is trying to remember which bit of the stencil I used. So I think it was that bit that's got ink on, with my stencil being so coloured because of my sprays. But if I don't get a print, I've lost nothing. It's just a piece of card. And all I'm doing is cleaning my stencil. And again, like I say, sometimes you get lovely backgrounds, sometimes you don't. Oh, look at that. Can't complain with that, can we? And that is the basis, I think, for a beautiful, especially when it dries. So what I'll do is just give this another quick spritz and another dab. Try to get used to dabbing your stencils. This one I can rub. It's not got a lot of open area, but if your stencil's got a lot of open area, you don't want to catch any of the bits. So it is useful trying to get in the habit of dabbing. So we'll file that on the floor. Now earlier, the one that I made earlier, this was the background that I got. And again, as I say, a beautiful start. And I love the fact I've got white space, so that's going to be perfect for stamping. In fact, I might put it that way. I'm thinking, oh, the woodland sprite would probably. Do you know what? And that's what happens with these backgrounds. They are gorgeous. So we'll put that over there to dry and come back to our lovely design here. And what we want to do now is just add some colour to the beautiful berries. So I'm going to use, I've got the watercolour pencils. And in here, she says, there are 3 lovely blues. So I'm going to pick those up and put the tin to one side. And all I'm going to do, I'm not going to do anything difficult. I'm going to go for my darker colour. And if you look at the design, Tracy has shown us where we need the darker colour. She's almost pixelated it. She's put little dots, a bit like, I think it's called pointillism if you look that up in art. And so that denotes the shade. So I know that's where I want the darker. So I'm just going to come in with the darker of the blue. And quite quickly. Now, again, you know me, you will spend longer doing this. I just worry that I don't want you to get bored while you're watching me. I mean, hopefully you might even be joining in. Hopefully you've managed to stamp up a design and you've done some lovely stencil work. I'm hoping you like the idea of mixing the colours on the stencil. It just gives that extra depth. And have a play with your stencils. It's like all techniques. Some work better with certain stencils. Because the designs are so different, you'll find some work better with certain designs, others don't. And then you'll be like me and have your favourites. She's very naughty. So I'm just going around the outside of the bigger ones, but I'm actually doing the whole of the smaller ones. Again, just for a little bit of contrast. Then I'm going to come in with my next colour of blue and add a little bit more. Might as well finish these ones up at the top. And then with my lighter colour, but I am being mindful because I like to add the white highlight on some of them. I'm actually leaving a white area, so it'll be easier when I add the white highlight. Depends how I'm feeling, to be fair. Some days I just go ahead and colour the whole lot and then just add my white gel pen on top. I'm a bit like that. I don't know about you. I am very sort of, depends how I feel sometimes as to how I do things. It's probably where that saying comes from, do as I say, not as I do. Right, where's my nice light colour? And I'm not being too mindful because these are the watercolour pencils. I'm going to be adding water. So, you know, you don't have to be too worried about whether you're doing lines or circular motions or how you're colouring in. As I say, some days I find I just want to just sit and really enjoy my colouring. Other days, especially if I need the card quickly, it's quickly get the colour down. Right, I think we've got them all. You watch, I'll put them back and then realise there's one I've missed. And I do like to put them back in the right order. I'm a bit funny like that. Right, so I've got my number one, my favourite little brush. And I'm just going to come in now and just add water and watercolour paint these. And I'm being mindful just to start with the lighter colour and then blend down into the darker. But it makes such a difference when you add the water. I'm hoping you can see. I'll lift it a bit closer for you in a minute. So hopefully you can see just how when you add the water, the colour really pops. And this is the bit where I always think, oh, which one have I missed any? And this is where it's good having you so you can shout at me and tell me if I've missed any. I try and do it methodical, but then I don't know about if you're the same. Sometimes my mind wanders, you know, and I'm doing things like this and I end up thinking about either what I've got to do, you know, doing my shopping list in my head, thinking what we're having for tea. And then I suddenly think, oh, which ones have I done? And the beauty of it is your stencil work and your ink will slightly move behind, but that will just add to the design. Don't worry about it at all. I think we've got all those. Oh, I've missed one there. I knew I would. So were you shouting? Were you telling me I'd missed one? Just need a little bit of blue there. And have I got enough water on my brush? Oh, just enough to blend it in. And again, like I say, just pops. Just think of those in red. How lovely. Now, while that's just drying a little bit, got a little bit of water there, I'm just going to just give a bit of movement with his tail as he swings, as I say, Mr. Tarzan. And we'll come in now with our Van Gogh pencils, our pastel pencils. And let's just, with the white, give a little bit of shape. Here to Tarzan Tango. Now again, you can use your white gel pen for this. Whatever suits you. I just like the pastel because it's not as bright. just for me, it sort of just catches. So I'm going to be happy with that. My white one is definitely getting shorter than the rest though. Then I'm going to come in with a couple of our Signo pens, and with the white I'm just going to give him a little tap on his nose and on his ear, a little bit on his tummy, just to blend in. And then if my berries are dry, I mean, again, at home, oh, there we are, I think that they're okay. At home I would just give these a few more minutes to dry, because we've literally just painted them. And where I've left my white, I'm just going to come in and add that highlight. As I say, you can paint the whole berry and just add your white highlight. And again, for me, that just adds so much depth. Then I'm going to come in with the blue, and I just want to add a little bit of sparkle. And again, the beauty with this, come on blue, why aren't you working? Oh, you are. I don't want to add too much, and I'm just putting it round the edge, sort of where the shade is. Now you could add it on the beautiful, don't know what they're called, those sort of the fronzy bits, but I'm just adding a, because I don't want too much sparkle. As I say, I haven't decided who this card's going to yet, so I can always add a little bit more. Again, you've got your stickles, you could add some stickles. Liquid pearls would look nice. But if I just stand up and bring that a bit closer, can you see how it just adds that little bit of sparkle and depth? And what's lovely, if you look here, you can almost see that stencil work through, so it almost makes them look a little bit like they're a bubble, and I love that effect. So apart from our little finishing trick of some splats, that's your card done. Now, I could add some blue splats if I wanted with the ink. On my original, I've gone for my ivory. With it being sort of the ivory coloured card, I've got an ivory coloured Posca. So on my original here, I've got Posca splats, but I'm thinking to bring the blue in. I'll just show you, and this one's slightly different. We'll go back for our Della blue, pop some on there, and just get my fan brush, sorry, which is in my water pot. And let's just add a few little, I'm thinking some blue speckles in the middle for this one. And there we go, that's more than enough. So we'll get rid of that. Again, just for a change. And then it's like this, you can decide which you like the best. I often like to do things differently. Well, you know me, I've got to be honest, I find it difficult doing the same card twice. So if I bring these in, there's the original one, look. So you can decide which you like. See, I'm thinking definitely if we're going Christmas, because that looks like snow. So definitely the ivory for Christmas. But as this dries, the blue, I think it just brings the blue in. So really, it's up to you. And like I say, don't forget your envelope. I'm going to have to put that underneath because it really makes me smile, swinging in there. So I hope you've enjoyed that today, and I hope you have a little play. And again, I haven't used a huge amount of products, and that's what's so lovely, that you can create something beautiful, something slightly different. I mean, I'm thinking, could you even make this as part of a Christmas tree and have him swinging off the Christmas tree? You could put a little bauble in his hand. I mean, there are so many things. It's so lovely how our minds work. Well, I don't know about lovely with mine. It just constantly keeps going just a bit silly. So I'm hoping you have a go. I'm hoping you have a good week. and you take care. And thanks for all your lovely messages. And for those of you that do your Tuesday homework and send me a message on Messenger, thank you very much. I do look forward to receiving your cards and seeing what you've got up to. So you take care. Love and hugs to everybody. Bye for now.